We're here again, Billy. Here we are. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Oh, she's stretching. She's showing off. Can you back up? Back. There you go. Hi. Give me a five. Yes. We're on episode 19 today, Billy. 19. You're such a great co host. Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you for being my friend and for helping me through hard things. Thank you, baby. I love you. Gonna lay down? Chill out? Just want to say hello today? Let's cross off our chart, Billy. Number 19. Good job. Good job. I'm proud of you. Are you proud of me? My kids are used to me making lots of funny voices. Maybe you'll hear them if I get more comfortable. I'm out of control with the voices. Huh, baby girl? She's a baby. She's a baby. Yesterday, we talked about a lot of vulnerable things. I told you about my issue with picking and digging into my skin and how I am no longer wearing fake nails, trying to do my best to heal myself. It feels like one of the very last steps in my journey of healing. I've healed multiple sclerosis, which has no cure, and I am healed. It was really bad for a long time. I couldn't balance. I couldn't walk without holding on to something sometimes. I was completely crippled by pain on certain days. My aunts and my sisters multiple times had to come and help me take care of my children for me. It was really bad. And when I was diagnosed, I was told that it would be 10 years at the very most before I was in a wheelchair because of the amount of lesions I had on my spine. So I'm extremely grateful for all of the healing I've received. I also struggled with suicidal ideation. I think that's what it's called. Since I was a little girl, I fantasized about unaliving myself. And that was a very difficult and treacherous journey. I'm really grateful to be here. I have my children to thank, actually, for me being here. Also, my best friend Christopher and my best friend Iggy and my husband AJ. I am so grateful to be alive and to want to be alive and to want to live this life fully and to share myself with all of you. Do you just want to play today, you sweet girl? Should we do some sound? I feel like I need a little bit of sound in my life. You're funny. Can you lay down? Lay down. Oh, I love you. This girl has my heart. I love her so much. She is on all of my medicine journeys with me. She's right by my side. And sometimes when Jesus Kate or another God being is working with me, their energy is so powerful that it causes my entire body to go into shock, basically. My teeth are chattering, my nervous system is rattled, and my entire body is trembling. And Billy instinctively knows to put her paws on my heart center and to press down. And she puts all of her body weight on me and she literally grounds me. And I'm so grateful, so grateful. Talk about a therapy dog, baby girl. You're the best. We rescued her from the same shelter we've got our last dog from, named Cody. He passed away. He was such a special friend to us as well. And she came from the same rescue. And when we got Cody, he was very old and very sick. And so we didn't think we would have even 6 months with him. It felt like more of a hospice situation. But he ended up being with us for more than 2 years and getting new energy. It's amazing what love can do for even an animal. And then when Cody passed away, we asked the universe, I prayed and prayed for a puppy because I really felt like after Cody and all of his beautiful old man energy that we could use puppy energy in our life. And Billy has not disappointed, huh, babe? She has brought so much color and life and joy into our lives. She is my son Anthony's very best friend. And I just honor you, Billy. Thank you for being my co-host and for being my friend. Back to dermatillomania, I wanted to go into a little bit more in depth what that's like for me. I would like to say that in the last 24 hours, I have not struggled, but I have been struggling with the picking. I have a lot of scratches and openness on my back right now, and it's so hard to leave alone, especially because when it starts to heal, it starts to kind of itch, and it just makes me want to scratch at it more. So I'm really doing my best to breathe and follow Jesus Kate's instructions to massage myself when I want to hurt myself, to love myself when I get the urge to hurt myself. And so I'm really working on that. But the urges are very much, I think, I've never really experienced strong urges for drugs like heroin or cocaine or things like that. But I have a fixation when I know that I have a sore on my body. It is so difficult for me to think about anything else. It's a total distraction. And all I'm hoping for is to get a moment alone so that I can dig into my skin. And I hope this is not triggering. I should probably put like a trigger warning. I apologize for self-harm, but this has been something that has been a very frustrating battle for me to fight alone. AJ, my husband, is a very good support too. But there's really not a lot that anyone else can do but love me. I have to learn to love myself and to want my body to completely heal and to believe that I am worthy to be completely healed. And so these urges come and they're so strong that I feel them literally in my body. I just want so badly to dig into my own skin. And then when I do, and I finally get alone and I am able to dig into my skin, this sounds so horrible to say out loud. I feel an extreme sense of relief and literal like euphoria that goes down my arms and through my body, and I feel okay again. It's like the physical pain relieves me of the emotional pain, and I feel better for a moment. And after I feel better for a moment, I feel terrible about myself and I'm frustrated with myself. And I wonder why the hell I just did that again. And it's such a very difficult shame cycle to break. And so you're on this journey with me now. I'm no longer alone with it. And I'm doing my best to just be brave and love myself. And once I've healed this in my body and this one other little spot on my left side, my left lower back, I will be completely healed. There have been so many times when I couldn't even move my neck left to right. I had so much pain in all of my joints. It was hard to even move. And all I have left is this little area on the lower left side. I'm so grateful. And every time the beings come, they do put lots of energy into this area, and it has improved a ton. So I'm so grateful for that. There was one time I was with Jesus Kate, and I asked her to heal my lower back. I'm just like, please, you're a God. You can do this, you know? The thing about these God beings is that we still have our agency and we still have a responsibility to heal ourselves. They can guide us and direct us, and they can put their energies into us, but we have to be brave enough to receive them. We have to be brave enough to love ourselves and heal ourselves. So once I was with Jesus Kate and I told her, please, can you heal my back? And she asked me, can you imagine yourself being 100% healed of this? And I asked myself that honestly, and I realized I could not imagine. I have been dealing with extreme back and neck pain. My entire back used to be in a lot of pain, and my neck for so long, for like 20 years. And so the idea of standing up out of my car or getting up out of bed or even rolling over in bed without extreme pain was unimaginable to me. And she told me, you need to be able to truly believe 100% that this body can heal. And when you do, it will be healed. And so I am continuing to work toward that. I know that that is true. I have healed so much in me. Even my skin used to be, even I used to have more wrinkles, more fine lines, but imagining that I can look more radiant, more young, more youthful has caused me to look more young, radiant, and youthful. It really helps. It really works. We can talk to our bodies. Our organs are alive. They feel the pain that we feel. They want us to be healthy. We can speak to our organs. We can speak to our cells, and they will respond. You know, Jesus even talked about having the faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains and heal us. I can't remember exactly what Jesus said, but he said something about what we can do with faith as small as a mustard seed. And that is so true. I have learned so much about faith. You know, every time I take this medicine, it is extremely nerve-wracking for me. I pray to the medicine. I pray to the gods. I open myself up to healing and to all benevolent, high dimensional beings. And it is scary every single time. And so taking the medicine is an act of faith. It's an act of surrender. It's an act of surrender to the universe and to the earth, to my higher power, to say, here I am, and I am willing to go through whatever will bring me to my highest good, to be my healthiest, happiest, most helpful self. Those are my 3 H's that are my goal. Another thing that Jesus Kate has taught to me is to connect to the everything around us and realize that we cannot separate ourselves from all of creation, and all of creation is divine. She told me one time, you are the clouds. She showed me that I am 70% water and that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So to be 70% water means that we were the water that the dinosaurs were drinking and peeing out. We are the ocean. 70% of us has been the clouds floating in the sky, and we can connect to all that we are, and that can help us heal ourselves, is by connecting to the oneness and realizing that we are a divine creation. I learned in my religion growing up that I am a child of God. There are songs that say, I am a child of God. And I love that concept because now, on a deeper, more profound level, I feel like a child of God. I am the creator and the creation, and so are you. So let's see. Dermatillomania, which is a word I just recently learned. I literally looked it up yesterday, is associated also with trichotillomania, which is where people get the urge to pull out their hair. I know people that have struggled with that, and that is a very real issue that I have a lot of compassion for. It is in the same, these dermatillomania and trichotillomania are both in the same family as obsessive compulsive disorder. And these are serious issues, and they are compulsions that are very difficult to get on top of. And as I've been reflecting about this, it was honestly really difficult for me yesterday, or I guess it was 2 days ago, my last episode, that I told the world about this issue. I felt the heaviness of that. I felt the self-consciousness of that. I felt the shame. I felt a little bit of even regret for exposing myself and feeling so vulnerable in that way. And as I've thought about the power of this issue that I'm struggling with, it reminded me of something else I have overcome. and that is binge eating disorder. Now, trigger warning again, I'm about to talk about an eating disorder. When I left my first marriage, I was married for almost 10 years. And in July of 2011, I decided to leave that marriage. Now, my ex-husband, Jake, and I are really, really good friends now. So I do not want to speak negatively about him, and I am grateful to know that he does not speak negatively about me. I trust that, and I love him very much. We have 4 beautiful children together, and we are deeply connected. I have known him since I was 14 years old, and he is a dear, dear friend to me. But our marriage was very toxic and it was very difficult. We got married way too young. I was 19 years old, barely, just a few days after my 19th birthday. And I was drowning in that marriage and I needed out. But when I left that marriage in July of 2011, I can't even tell you the levels of shame I felt on behalf of my children. I am a child of divorce. My dad has been married 4 times. My mom has been married 6 times. I have been through a lot when it comes to divorce and step parents and all of the things. And I was not interested in putting my children through a divorce. That was something that was so difficult for me. My parents still cannot be in the same room without literally hating each other and a lot of toxic energy, and it's extremely uncomfortable for their children. And that is something I never wanted for my children. And I'm so grateful that Jake and I have been able to co-parent and coexist, that his wife, Tiff, is the absolute best. She's one of my dearest friends. And Jake and my husband, AJ, get along great. And we are actually about to start a podcast together about co-parenting and all of life. So stay tuned for that. But when I left that marriage, my children were 2, 3, 4, and 7. They were tiny and they did not deserve to have their parents get divorced. And it was very difficult for them. And I left my big, huge home with a big, huge yard. And I moved with my 4 children into this tiny little apartment. And that first night was so difficult. My children were all crying for their dad. And to think about that now still brings me levels of guilt and sadness on behalf of my children. I just wish so much that I could have figured out how to be happy and healthy in that marriage. And I just simply couldn't. It wasn't meant for me. But that night I put my children to bed and I went into the kitchen and I poured a giant bowl, not a cereal bowl, but a bigger bowl, like a serving dish of frosted mini wheats. And I ate them as fast as I could as a way of feeling better or punishing myself or something. It was definitely a compulsion. And that bowl of cereal was the beginning of a very serious and very secret problem that I then carried with me for the next 6 or 7, maybe 8 months. Binging became a very private addiction. And I would wait until I was alone. And then, especially like if my children went with their dad, I would literally go to 3 different drive-throughs, sometimes 4 different drive-throughs. And I would order obscene amounts of food, thousands and thousands of calories, and I would eat them as fast as I could. And I would feel that same sense of relief and euphoria that I feel when I dig into my skin and create sores and then pick at those sores. It was another coping mechanism in another difficult part of my life that I got completely trapped in. 6 months later, I had gained 50 pounds and I met my now husband, AJ, and I kept this a complete secret from him as well. I could not wait to be alone all the time. It was constantly on my mind, just like a heroin addict. When do I get my next fix? And when I was alone, I would binge. I remember about 2 months after AJ and I met, we took our children to Disneyland. We fell in love very quickly. We even got matching tattoos like 2 months after we met. But we took our kids to Disneyland, and I had made an individual snack bag for each one of our children with crackers and cookies and snacks and fruit and whatever. They left those bags in the car, so I would run out to the car to get something, and I would literally steal my children's crackers and snacks, and it didn't even taste good to me. It was literally a drug fix to stuff food into my mouth to feel better. And it was horrible. It was so shameful. And I couldn't bring myself to even tell the person that I loved more than anything besides my children. I pulled up a blog post that I wrote several years ago about binge eating disorder, and I wanted to read just a little part of it. I said, nighttime was the worst. After a night of waking up and binging multiple times, I would get out of bed and look in the mirror. Some mornings, my face was so swollen with edema, I almost didn't recognize myself. My feet and my hands swelled. I was horrified. I would decide not to eat for the day. If I could just go 1 or 2 days without food, I'd start losing the weight and get myself back on track. By afternoon, I was starving and the urges were just too strong. The cycle continued. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I did not tell a soul about my secret struggle. I was determined to fix this and move on, but every day proved to be another failure. I became obsessed with my weight. I got a gym membership and I started doing way too difficult of workouts. I started pushing myself to the extreme, burning tons and tons of calories, just determined to get on top of this problem. But those extreme workouts would leave me feeling depleted and starving. And so I would end up even eating more after those workouts. And it was just felt so hopeless. Well, during that time, my ex-husband actually moved to Texas and he wanted me to come along, but I was really torn because I was now in love with AJ and he had 2 children in Utah and I didn't know what to do. But a couple months after he moved to Texas, my heart was calling me to have my children near their dad. And so I indeed decided to move with my 4 children out to Texas. So Jake flew out, and he and AJ packed up my things, and Jake drove the U-Haul truck and AJ drove my minivan, and we caravanned out and moved me to Texas. And I decided that that move would be the moment where I got this shit under control. And I was absolutely determined. And so the entire drive out to Texas was maybe 2 days, maybe 3, I can't remember. I binged like a crazy person. I was out of control because I knew that I was about to give this up. It had become like a toxic friend that I needed in my life, and I was ready to finally set a boundary with that friend. Binge eating disorder is one of the hardest things to overcome because you have to eat to sustain life. And so you cannot just avoid the addiction like you can avoid heroin or avoid alcohol. You have to have it in your house. You have to have food. And so it makes it so difficult to overcome. But when I got to my new apartment in Texas, I had empty cupboards and I decided to only fill them with healthy foods. And that is what I did. And I started walking every day, and I made a calendar, a big green ugly poster that had 30 days at a time. And on that calendar, I would write certain days where I would get a treat, like a Starbucks chai latte or an ice cream or something that I wanted. Sometimes it would say free treat. Sometimes it would say something specific like a chai latte, which is one of my very favorite things. So I would look so forward to those treats, and I would really allow myself to not eat anything that I was not supposed to, not eat anything that was not in my cupboards that was healthy, that would make me feel good. I did a lot of green smoothies during that time, but the urges were insane. Those first 30 days felt almost impossible. I remember lying on the floor after I put my children to bed late at night, just literally writhing, rolling over, and feeling like it was so physical in my body, the urges, that I just had to lay there and allow it to move through me, the urges. And I learned to separate myself from the urges, to realize that I am not the urge and that I can simply observe the urge happening. Because every urge to any issue that we have has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's like a wave that goes up and it has a peak and then it will start to go down and subside. And so I learned that if I can just simply notice when I'm having an urge, to separate myself from it, to realize that I can have power over it, and to simply observe the urge in my body, to speak to myself and say, oh my God, wow, this is really intense. Oh, wow, I am really feeling this one strongly. Good job not giving into it. Just watch it. Oh my God, I can feel it in my arms. I can feel it in my hands. My stomach is grumbling. Everything in me is screaming. And I just watch it peak and then watch it go down. And I did that over and over and over and over again. And yes, there were times where I did lapse and mess up. There were times where I got really upset and the urge was just more powerful than I was, and I would binge. But that happened not very many times. I was absolutely determined. And so I lost, I don't remember how much I lost in that first little while. I think the first month, I think I lost 15 pounds. But more importantly, I started to get my power back and started to build a little bit of a self-esteem. All during that time, I still had the picking issue. And that is something I still have not overcome completely, but I am better than I have been in a very long time. And I am really determined to watch these urges and observe these urges, and just remembering that I did indeed overcome something so powerful as binge eating disorder makes me believe in myself that I can overcome this too. And so here I am, and I feel like maybe being open about it will help me to stay accountable and to really take this more seriously and to heal myself once and for all of this very difficult thing. Just like binge eating disorder is extremely difficult because food is everywhere and we have to have it. The same thing with picking. My body is everywhere I go, and all of these urges are in me and in my body. And so it's the hardest thing to do. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. And so to create that awareness, Jesus Kate always tells me, awareness is the healer. If you can start to observe yourself, you can start to gain your power over any issue and simply observe it happening within you and not give it your power. And so that has helped me a lot. And I am determined to continue getting healthier and healthier with this. What else? I wanted to read today from Melody Beattie's Journey to the Heart. Today is April 17th, and I thought what she had to say today was really profound, because this is something that Jesus Kate has taught me again and again. Jesus Kate showed me my heart chakra. And let me tell you, our heart chakras are so beautiful. Our brains are designed to see things as we see them, our bodies as our bodies, and everything in these rooms. But our brains are actually just processing sensory information. Who knows what we actually look like, because our brains are simply registering sensory input and creating an image for us in our minds of what we look like and what other people look like. But when you are on a journey like this, and when these God beings are able to show you reality, holy cow, seeing my heart chakra was one of the most glorious experiences of my entire life. I felt like there was love just oozing out of me, pouring out of me, love so big that it overwhelmed me to laughter and tears and joy. There's color and shapes and music. There's so much going on that we are made of, our divine being, and we are confined to this little understanding, this little part of what we are in this physical 3D realm. And there is a lot of purpose for us not being able to see our divine greatness, because I believe, and Jesus has helped me understand, that the reason we come down to this very heavy 3D existence is to experience the darkness, because exposing ourselves to new levels of darkness helps us bring light to ourselves. It literally expands us and enlightens us and evolves us in new ways. So we come down here and we forget our divine greatness, because if we know everything, it's not a struggle. So we go and we expose ourselves to new levels of darkness, new levels of trauma, new levels of pain, so that hopefully we can gain an awareness and an understanding and gain our power over that and bring love and light to that. And when we bring love and light to that trauma and that pain, it becomes our power. Our pain literally becomes a superpower that we can help others with, that we can strengthen ourselves with. And it just continues to grow and grow and grow us, just like with the trees. Every storm, the wind helps them bend. And when they bend like this, they are literally strengthening and growing and evolving. Every single storm grows and strengthens and fortifies the trees. Just like every single storm we experience grows and strengthens and fortifies our soul. And so, as a divine creator that God is, that we are, we want to expand ourselves and evolve ourselves and explore new territory. And so we come down into these existences to literally bring light to the darkness. I don't necessarily believe in hell. Hell is not a place. Hell is a state of being. We put ourselves into hell so that we can bring light and love to this darkness and expand ourselves through that. So Jesus Kate has taught me so much about the heart center and how precious and important it is to get out of our minds, our busy brains that come down here and are so noisied by programming and toxicity and pain and struggle, and to get out of that mind and to go into the heart center and to just be instead of do, to be instead of do, to feel what it is like to be here, to observe the miracle that this existence even is, that this meat suit that we have incarnated in is. What a miracle. So Melanie Beattie, she says, listen to the voice of your heart. Cultivate the art of listening to your intuition, your inner voice. This is the guidance of your heart. It's a voice that speaks differently from the one in your head. The heart whispers softly. The head prattles loudly. So we really have to slow down and be quiet enough to tune into our heart, because it's more subtle. The mind is noisy, and we want to listen to the mind because we think it's keeping us safe. But so often the mind is just trying to keep us safe, but it is like an overactive, untrained friend or puppy, where we have to set boundaries with our mind and teach our mind that it is okay to rest and to be quiet, that we are safe, and that we can quiet ourselves and tune into our heart intuition. You know, in Mormonism, I was taught to listen to the still small voice, the Holy Ghost. Jesus Kate says, you are the Holy Ghost. Tune into your heart. Your heart center is that still small voice. We all have an internal guidance. We just have to be quiet and still enough to listen and to tune in. And there has been a lot of science to prove that the heart can predict things faster than the mind. And I can tell you about some of those experiments and proof at another time. It's so interesting, but the heart intelligence is profound. There are neurons in the heart. There is a neural connection between the brain and the heart. And so the most important thing we can do in life is to slow our brain down and to quiet our mind and to tune into our heart. The head has an agenda for our lives. It chatters away boldly, but its vision is limited. It leaves no room for the mysterious workings of the universe, nor does it take into account the side trips we need to get to where we're going, where our souls need to go. It's the voice that says, this is the way it's going to be. The heart, the inner voice, speaks differently. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it pulls. Sometimes it pushes. It's spontaneous, in the present moment, and often a surprise. The heart takes into account what has to be done and the best way to do it. The heart takes emotions into account, the way things feel, the way you feel, the wisdom of your soul. The heart leads us into and through the lessons we are here to learn. Cultivate your inner voice. Practice listening to the whispers of your heart. Practice trusting your intuition, what you really feel, what you really know. Practice until that voice is the one that you hear. Be patient. Be gentle. Let yourself learn to hear the gentle and trustworthy words of your heart. I remember one time Jesus, Kate, in a vision, she said, "This is the key to all of life. Open your heart and quiet your mind." That's what she said. And I think of that often. Open your heart and quiet your mind. There is true intelligence there. Let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. What was it? I can't remember. So it will have to come on our next episode. There was one more thing I wanted to mention. It seems like it was something that Jesus Kate taught to me, but I will save it for next time. Thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you very, very much for your love and acceptance. Several of you have reached out with encouragement as I have opened myself to this level of vulnerability and trying to just be as real as possible to hopefully inspire you to get real in your life, to quiet your mind and to open your heart and to sit in stillness with yourself and to connect with the clouds and to the trees and to realize that you are one with all of this beautiful divine creation. You are a unique person with unique gifts, and all of us, I believe, our passions, the things that our hearts draw us to, are part of our purpose. I remember that I was going to do some sound today because I think it will help me get through the rest of my day in a more centered way. So I hope it helps you too. I'm going to do just a little bit of chakra clearing with sound. Sound has been scientifically proven again and again to literally heal the body. It can heal cancer cells and start to turn them around and help them start healing themselves. There is so much research on sound. And so if you are anywhere where there is civilization around you, there are sound baths and sound healings, sound journeys you can attend. Lots of yoga studios. I know my yoga studio does sound journeys and they are life-changing. They really help you feel so much better. So here is just a little taste of that, and we'll close with a little bit of chakra clearing with sound. Ready, Billy? That is nice. It really does center me right away. I love it. Thank you, sound. Thank you, Billy. Thank you for watching. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Jesus, Kate. thank you, all of my galactic friends and benevolent God beings that help heal me. And I wish you all the best of days. I hope you'll take some time to really connect to your divine worth, divine being, your divine essence. Put your feet in the earth today. Put your hands on your heart and feel the miracle of your heartbeat, and love yourself. Use mantras to love yourself. Use all kinds of things, affirmations. Look at yourself in the mirror. Smile, because smiling literally creates chemical reactions in the brain that improve our health and our overall well-being. Smile and say, I love you. You are worthy just as you are. Really go out of your way to be intentional to love yourself, and I will do the same. I love you. I send you all my love and all of Jesus Kate's love and all of Billy's love. I'll see you next time. Namaste.